Hi, I'm Amy, and in this video I will be investigating whether it is better to go by sea or air when travelling between the UK and Jersey. I will be getting on the 10 o'clock sailing from Portsmouth to Jersey this morning. I've heard that the ferry itself is not the loveliest, so I've actually treated myself and booked myself a one-bed sea view cabin, which I'm very excited about. I've never had a cabin on a ferry before. Once we're on board, I will obviously give you a little tour of the cabin. We all have different priorities when travelling, so rather than me tell you what is best for me, I will try and cover as many of the pros and cons as I can, so you can make up your own mind. And that starts with the crossing time, which this morning will be 9.5 hours. Okay, time to find the cabin. Number 55 we're looking for. Oh, I think I'm down the end somewhere. Yeah, right at the end. Here we go. See if this works. Yay! So it is a one-bed sea view cabin, as I mentioned earlier. We've got a full-length mirror. Hello. We've got a chair, we've got a TV, which I did not expect to have. And we've got a view currently of the ferry next to us, which is the Brittany William de Normandy, I believe. And well, a comfy looking bed, which I'm pretty sure I'll be having a lay down on a little bit later on, as I had a pretty early start this morning. Well, very exciting. And then finally, let's go and have a little look in here in the bathroom. Let's have a look. So what have we got? We have got a pretty standard small bathroom, everything you might need, including a shower. Don't think I actually need that, but might try the power of the shower later on, just for review purposes. There we go. Looks quite cosy. Right, I think I am going to go up on deck, because we've got to be outside when we leave port. And let's go and investigate the deck space. What have we got around here? Lifeboats, and the funnel, and the stairs there. Can we go up those stairs? I don't think there's anything to say we cannot go up those stairs. Let's take a look. Shall we risk it? There's nothing saying we can't, so. There's nobody else out here. Excuse me. Are we really allowed up here? Am I being very naughty? Are we really allowed up here? I think we might be. How cool is that? Wow. And there's more. Can we go up here too? I really feel like I'm doing something naughty here. No, there's tables and chairs up here. I'm guessing we're good. Oh wow, how beautiful is that? So here we are on the Stena Vinga. It is chartered by DFDS for the crossing to Jersey. Oh wow, look at those views of Portsmouth. Fabulous. And the Stena Vinga holds around 400 passengers and 200 cars. And we've got the Brittany ferries somewhere low to our other side. Wow, look at that. And there's the port. So we should be leaving very soon. What fabulous outside space on this ferry. The interior space, which I haven't shown you yet, is not looking quite so nice. But I'm loving the outside space. So we are pulling away. We are leaving about 17 minutes late, but it's a 9.5-hour crossing, so in the scheme of things it probably won't actually make much difference. In the announcement the captain did, he did actually say that it might get a little bit rocky later on in the crossing. Unfortunately, I do not have any travel sick pills with me. I was going to buy some at terminal, but the little shop at the terminal doesn't open till 12 o'clock midday. However, I do have some of those acupuncture wristbands. Never used them before, but we're definitely going to give them a try. I don't tend to get travel sick or seasick, but I don't really want to take any risks. At least I've got that private bathroom in case I do start to feel ill. And here we are leaving Portsmouth. You've got the Spinnaker Tower in the background. I actually went to the University of Portsmouth, and whilst I was a resident in Portsmouth, I was able to vote for the design of the Spinnaker Tower. We had a choice of 3 designs for a tower that was going to be built there, and that is indeed the design that I voted for. Never actually been up it though. There's one of the 2 aircraft carriers. Not sure which one it is. Hopefully you'll be able to see in a minute. And then you've got the Spinnaker Tower. And we'll soon be headed out to sea. When I was at university in Portsmouth, I used to sit down there. Do you see that little beach down there? We used to go and sit on that beach and wave to the ferries as they went past. Sadly, it doesn't seem to be anybody waving today. One vegetarian breakfast, so this cost me £11.95 for the breakfast and £3.90 for the cappuccino. Let's tuck in. So I'm back in my cabin after having a very tasty full English breakfast, which was much needed after an incredibly early start this morning. So now it is time to talk about the money. So my crossing today cost £52 as a foot passenger, but that does not include the cabin. The cabin was an additional £70, and as I think I mentioned earlier, I've got a 1-bed sea view cabin. There are lots of other cabin options as well. You've got cabins that are suitable for pets, which I think sell out quite quickly, so if you want to do that, get in there fast. And larger cabins as well, taking 2 to 4 people. Then in addition to that, you've got the option of, and you don't have to take any of these options, you can just pay the £52 if you want to, but if you want a little bit more comfort, you might want to pay for a reclining seat in one of the lounges. So in the standard lounge, it's £10 per person. Then you've got the pet lounge. I can't actually remember the cost of that one, but I'll make sure I put it on the screen. And I know the top tier one is the premium lounge, and that's £22 per person, but it does include snacks and drinks throughout the crossing. Then another thing I want to talk about is luggage. So as you can see behind me, that is my little rucksack, and that's all I've got with me today, because tomorrow I am going to be flying back with EasyJet. So we all know that unless I am prepared to pay a lot more money, that's what I'm restricted to, something that will fit under the seat in front. But I'm only away for 1 night, so that's really not a problem at all. But obviously on the ferry as a foot passenger, you could actually bring quite a lot more on. I believe the limit is 25 kilograms per person, so that's pretty hefty. And then if you've got your car with you, you're pretty much unlimited. It's just the space that you've got in your car. So a massive advantage of the ferry. I tell you what, another thing I've noticed is having a cabin. A really big advantage of the cabin is that I can leave my bag in here. When I took a ferry to Dieppe recently, I got very nervous about leaving my bag by itself if I just needed to pop to the toilet or I wanted to look outside, and I didn't want to lose my great seat by the window, which I managed to get. That was annoying. That was and I was worried about obviously the security of my stuff, but here I don't need to worry about that at all, and I've got 9.5 hours here, so that's pretty good. Okay, let's show you the view from my filthy window. We've got a container ship, and I don't know if you can see it, but we have got the coast of England just over there, getting smaller and smaller. Okay, before I settle down, let's give this shower a go. I'm not actually going to go in the shower, I just want to turn it on and see if it's powerful. Let's have a look where it's the... Oh, that, you know, is actually really good. Temperature of the water. Oh, nice and warm. Oh, so if you need a shower, there you go. I spent most of the crossing in my cabin doing a puzzle book and reading. The aircon in the room worked well, I was able to charge my camera and phone in the power socket, and I used the free Wi-Fi to contact home. It got a little rocky, but not so bad I felt ill. It was then time for some very fresh air before fish and chips. It's worth noting that hot food was only available between set times, but that might be because I was travelling at a quieter time of year. Okay, and here is my fish and chips. It is a $14.95. I had a free mayonnaise because I think they forgot about my order. I'm just back from having fish and chips, which were really, really good. Huge portion of them. I couldn't eat it all. I'd also had that big English breakfast earlier today, but it does mean I don't have to eat anything else tonight. As you can see, it's getting a bit dark outside. It's about 20 to 5, but we've still got another 3 hours to run before we get to Jersey. Good morning from my hotel in Jersey. Before we move on to the order of the day, which is my flight back to Gatwick this afternoon, let's recap what happened yesterday on the ferry. I hope you don't mind, I've got some notes just so I don't forget anything. So first of all, the crossing time. So the crossing time was about 9.5 hours, although yesterday actually took over 10 hours. That's because unfortunately someone used to be have a medical evacuation by helicopter yesterday. So we arrived a little bit late. I spent a total of £34.70 on board on food and drink. So the total cost was £156.70. The food was good, but obviously you could bring your own food on board. You won't be able to heat it up, but that will definitely save you some money. And I know I won't be getting any of that on my EasyJet flight on the way back. I think the flight time's about 40 minutes for that. I don't at all regret my decision to get the cabin. I know it was an additional £70 and it was a bit of a luxury, but looking at the interior space on the ferry, where the lounges are, they're kind of placed around the windows. So if you don't have access to the lounges and you've like the reclining seat areas, you're not really going to have an outside view, or not a decent one anyway. If you do want, I didn't take much video. I know I didn't take much video of the inside space and that kind of lounge area. I didn't want to disturb the people in there. I'm not brave enough to video in public spaces yet. But if you do want to have a better review of that, Let's Make a Trip has done a really good video on that. So I would go and check that out if you were looking at the lounge option. That being said, the outside space was actually really nice. There was lots of deck space outside. It was pretty windy yesterday, but on a nice day, I mean, it wasn't bad. It wasn't too bad yesterday. But on a nicer day, I bet it's absolutely lovely out there, and you could spend lots and lots of time outside on the deck. So if you're not going in December, maybe going in the summer, that's probably a really good option. Finally, luggage. On the ferry, you can take lots of luggage, pretty much as you want to. And also, so that's not just if you've got the car, if you're a foot passenger, you don't have to pay extra for additional luggage. And also you can take your dogs on board. There was lots of dogs on the ship, all on the ferry, all very well behaved. That was just lovely to see. Finally, you might just like to travel by ferry. Here I am at the beach, and behind me over there is Elizabeth Castle. You can walk across to Elizabeth Castle at low tide, which it is now. I don't have time to do that because right now I am about to head to the bus station to get the bus to the airport. So that must be the quickest I've ever been through airport security before. The flight today is going to cost me £38.98, and that includes the reservation for a window seat, and the flight time should be around 40 minutes.
Not everything.
For me, flying had been far quicker and cheaper, but of course the cost of travel will vary significantly depending on the time of year. You can save considerably on the ferry costs by not getting a cabin or sharing one with family or friends. But I would recommend at least getting access to one of the lounges. You can also bring your own food on board. The main advantages of the ferry are being able to take pets and more luggage. You can of course also take your car on the ferry, although there is a great bus network in Jersey. Or you might just love ferries, and who am I to judge? For those of you that have seen my previous videos, you will know that I am currently getting over a fear of flying, so here's an update. I was far more worried about where to get the bus from to Jersey Airport, what number I needed, how long it took, and how to pay for it than I was about the actual flight. There was literally only one moment on the flight when I got at all uncomfortable, which is when there was a little bit of turbulence on the approach to Gatwick, but I very quickly recovered from that. I will try to fly as regularly as I can, as I think exposure to it will give me more confidence for a longer flight. Have you been on a ferry between the UK and Jersey? Is your preference for the ferry or to fly? And why? I'd love to try an overnight ferry next time. Do you have any recommendations? I hope you found this video useful. Take care, and I hope to be back soon.